All right, Possibility Storm. So we had played an iteration of this that was trying to cast Nexus of Fate over and over again that didn't deterministically win the game when it comboed. This build deterministically wins the game when it combos. So what we're looking to do here is our centerpiece is Possibility Storm. And this says, whenever a player casts a spell from their hand, you exile cards from the top of their library until you exile a card that shares a type with it. And then you cast that other spell instead. So what this deck is looking to do is looking to abuse the fact that these adventure creatures are creatures everywhere except when they're being cast on the stack for their adventure half. So how we win the game is, with Possibility Storm in play, we cast any of our sorcery speed adventure creatures, and the only sorcery in our deck is Enter the Infinite. So while Possibility Storm is in play, any adventure creature cast turns into Enter the Infinite. And Enter the Infinite here says we draw our entire deck, then we put one card from our hand on top of our library. And what we do is we cast this Enter to put Borborygmos Enraged on top of our deck. So that means we guaranteed have this on top of our deck when we cast this free creature. So we then cast Walking Ballista for free, which Possibility Storm turns into Borborygmos Enraged. And then because we have our entire deck in our hands, we can discard a bunch of lands to make this deal 3 damage as much as we need to. So there is a finite upper limit to how much damage we can deal based on how many lands are left in our deck, but it should be enough to kill our opponents in most situations. We also hear something that's interesting is that Possibility Storm alongside Teferi, Hero of Hearthstone, says your opponent can't cast spells, because Teferi static text basically says your opponent can't cast spells while the stack isn't empty. So while Teferi's in play, if you also have Possibility Storm out, your opponent just can't cast any spells because the Possibility Storm triggers and they can't cast the spell with Possibility Storm on the stack. So let's go ahead and dive on into a league here with this one and see how it goes. It's got a lot of neat angles of attack here. We've got a prison element with the Teferi. We've got just controlling elements with the various adventure creatures. They kind of have this weird mid-range plan and then also have like an instant combo kill as well. Correct. If you draw both copies of Enter the Infinite, you cannot combo. Yeah, the Bonecrusher art and the Lovestruck Beast art are both great. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 agree. Sure. Yes. Yeah, if our Borborygmos gets discard spelled, we are also out of luck. Once upon a time, there was a land. The old once upon a time into Mystic Monastery. It's just good deck building. Anybody else loco for Oko? Yeah, and like we're a combo control deck at our core, basically, right? That's what we're trying to accomplish here. So like our opponent needs to not die to like our sweepers and stuff, and we also can just randomly combo them. They could elk our 1/1, you're not wrong. Ballista can also be a 1/1 for Beast. You are not wrong. I think I'm going to do this and just bounce their food, alleviate some pressure. It could be right to just like Beanstalk Giant for a land here too, though. Hopefully we draw a land. It's unfortunate. Can we also kill Oko if we combo to send a message? Yes. It is legal, Nivik, but I don't think that card's, like, good enough for that to be. I don't think there's, like, enough adventures around for that card to be worthwhile. 1 off. Oh, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I'm about to Beanstalk Giant. I should play my Scryland after I shuffle. I'm gonna grab a forest here, even though I don't have double green yet, because I want a Heart's Desire. Well, maybe I'm not supposed to. Maybe I'm just supposed to, like, grab Mountain there, and then, like, plan to cast off next turn. I can see that being reasonable, too. So, like, clear the board. I think if they make, well, they're going to make a food a 3/3 here, I'll probably double block and then, like, drop Realm-Cloaked Giant to cast off next turn. Oh. Alright, I have Beanstalk Giant as, like, another way to get another mountain next turn. Or eventually. Would love it if they'd play another creature here. Gross. I kind of have a storm in my hand, right? Like, granted can go get a storm. And we're dead. Hopefully we draw an untapped land here and get to go. Lovestruck. That's actually a pretty okay draw here, because it means that if I draw a Possibility Storm next turn, they just lose. This is our 1-mana way to do it. So this can't attack unless I have a 1/1, but it can still block, which is very relevant here. Easy block. I assume I'm going to block, and then they're going to plus their Oko to kill my Lovestruck Beast, but I'm okay with that. Takes their food off the table and, like, eats their Oko activation for the turn. Do we just, like, Granted for Peace Storm and then, like, play Fae of Wishes next turn? Oh, no! Oh, no! Wow, that's unfortunate. Yeah, enter says draw. Pretty sure. Yep. I could go fetch Hour of Revelation and, like, hope to draw a white source next turn. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think that's the line. Hey, Kane, thanks for the half a year support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's why I said I think the line is get Hour and hope to draw a white source in Fern Flow. It's a low probability chance, but I think it's the best shot to win for sure. And, like, we're not just dead otherwise, right? Like, this Fae of Wishes bumps off this 3-3, and, like, I can play Bonecrusher plus Lovestruck next turn. Yeah, the problem is I gotta not die to these food. It's a good start. Oh, I can't draw a card with it. Man, that sucks. I think I just Bonecrusher and Lovestruck Beast here. Yeah, shooting the Narset means I'm dying to the Oko though. I think I need to stabilize on the food front before before we try and deal with the Narset. Attack with the Fairy? No, I think the blocker is pretty important here. I die to a removal spell if I attack with the Fae. Scorpio Death Drop. Thanks for continuing for 2.5 years. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, so I'm dead if they have another removal spell in their hand. So they found Abrupt Decay with Narset. For their other 3 cards, also removal spell, they can make another 3-3, and I can only block 1. Every non-land card in play is standard. Legal. Yeah, at the moment. Am I dead? Yeah, also dead to another Oko. If they don't have the removal spell, Possibility Storm lets us win, because Fae of Wishes can kill Narset next turn, and then P-Storm lets us combo. Oh yeah, they can block Fae. Durf, these fly. Good call. So, looking for that white source. Well, I mean, in the realm of not dead yet. Yep, there we go. Cast off. Make a 1-1. We are mostly dead, but not completely dead. Get a redraw here at I don't really know that I'm going to sideboard. Feel like our main deck is pretty well situated here. I've got like Vetoes and Detention Spheres and like Mystic Disputes to board in. A lot of our board plan is like different things to grab with Fae of Wishes. I don't think I like any of these cards more than what our main deck's doing, so I'm just gonna submit and run it back. So Pioneer has boosted my meager collection from 60 tickets to over 300. Yeah, this format's great. More Veils on the board might be a good idea. Why? Like, how does Veil address that loss that we just had? What problem do we have that you envision you're solving by playing more Veil? Yeah, main deck Cry is interesting in the opponent's deck. I wonder what they've been losing to that's like something they felt they needed to do. I mean, like, I feel like people who are identifying Oko as the problem that game are, like, misassessing what happened. Like, the issue that game was the fact that I couldn't combo, right? Like, if the Narset hadn't happened, they lose that game even with the Oko. So I guess I'm confused why people are, like, talking about the Oko, because that's not the thing that mattered. Yeah, Narset was the problem. I'm gonna keep that, actually. So I feel like the things, and this is I think this is a good example of, like, threat assessment. Like, people are, like looking at that game that we just played and coming to the wrong conclusions. Like, people are talking about cards like Veil and Answers to Oko, and, like, those aren't the reasons why we didn't win. That's not what actually prevented us from having that game happen in a way that we're ideal to. If you want a Discord role for having a Crown Nivik, you let me know. We can sort that out. We can definitely make that happen. Just gonna draw a card now in case they untap and, like, trophy this. Grab Forest here. Huh? You guys get Fae of Wishes, right? That's exactly how, Roderick. They are creatures everywhere except when you're casting them. I mean, this is post board. I expect my opponent to have counter spells on top of their discard spells, so. They never suspect the third Realm-Cloaked Giant, chat. The third cast off gets them every time. The third cast off gets them every time. Morning, Lucky. I think we're dying, chat. I think we're dying. I got rid of the Jace because otherwise it's going to flip and then, like, cast more Thought Seizes and stuff. So I think 1-for-1ing that there is appropriate. I missed the Giant hand too. It's a lot less satisfying on this platform. Gross. Well, I guess I'm not doing anything else. I might as well stomp her before we cast the 4-3. Yep. Down to 6 here. Sure. One land short of being able to Beanstalk into cast off here, but definitely got to clear it out. And we're dead. Our deck's a little clunky to start, and like once they get to board up extra counter spells and stuff post board, it's probably a pretty abysmal matchup for us. So like what our deck's trying to do in the ultimate sense is like pretty powerful, but we're also very susceptible to disruption. Need 4 possibility storms to main. Why would I want to cut from 7 possibility storms to 4? Can you tell me why that's a good suggestion? I'm currently playing 7 possibility storms in my main deck, 4 of which I can bind through once upon a time. Hey, D20 Bandit. This was a viewer submission. I worked around some of the details, but this was a viewer submission at the core. I think I'll take Beanstalk Giant. Seems fine. I don't know, Draxer. We don't have a good answer to that question. That's what we're still trying to figure out. Like, a lot of people want to ask very specific questions like that, like we should know all the ins and outs of what's going on in here, and the answer is we just don't. We're still trying to wait and see. It's real awkward. Stomp against this because these cards only get to go on adventures when, only get to go on adventures when they resolve, so when they sack Wanderer to counter this, I don't get my 4-3. I cast the Once Upon a Time, or my opponent can mess up, hoping that they would counter it with Mausoleum Wanderer. Hey, thanks for the 11 months, Freak. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. This is my favorite Pioneer deck so far. Blue-Green Eldrazi. The deck I played at the Nerd Rage event last weekend. Been enjoying that one a good deal. Get a second white source here. Although we have plenty of colors with these Fabled Passages. I guess I could have gotten a green source to do this, but I'm probably casting off next turn, so I guess that doesn't really matter. I have a collecting company here, probably. It's unfortunate. We could die next turn. Just, like, have some spirits here with lords, like, untap and have more lords. Mausoleum Wanderer is a beating, too. That means I can't cast off next turn. Are we dead? I think we're dead. Feel pretty dead. Day 7, still looking for the thing. So a lot of good disruption this format. Mystic Dispute seems fine. I don't really know what I want to cut. A lot of our cards here don't seem very good. I don't want to trim too much, though. I guess Bonecrusher Giant doesn't kill that much. It doesn't light up well against their Mausoleum Wanderer. And that's not an adventure creature that helps us combo with Possibility Storm, so it's probably the trim. I have an Uplift standing desk, and I would not recommend that brand. The electronics in it are really... It's one of the cheapest standing desk models you'll find, and it's one of the cheapest for a reason. The electronics in it are pretty bad. At some point, I will get another one, but I'm kind of just, like, waiting for it to break altogether at this point, I think. I was going to replace it when we got the new office done, but, like, finding contractors to get that done has been a giant pain, so who knows when that's going to happen. Man, it's kind of awkward. Can't cast Bonecrusher Giant. Needs lands in general. That's awful. Has Borby and Enter in the opener. Vomit. Sure. We'll bottom Borb and Time Raveler here. I'm going to once-on-one because I've got some tapped lands in my deck. So if we find, like, the Jeskai tapped land or a Temple, we'll play that as our first land for the game. There are in fact copies of Possibility Storm in our deck. Look at that. Weird. Weird. Okay, that's good. So we're going to fetch a white source with this Fabled Passage. That gives us double white. We already have double red. Single green. I think their justification was fine. I think they should probably also ban once, but like taking baby steps and banning minimal cards is also a fine idea, fine stance for them to be taking. Who knows? Maybe banning cat and banning. Maybe banning the cat and banning the Oath of Nissa is enough to push the green decks down, and Once Upon a Time is fine. Part of the problem with Once Upon a Time is that it's just kind of boring, right? Like, Once Upon a Time is this card where, like, it's a card where if you're playing green, you should have 4 of them in your deck, so it makes deck building a lot less interesting. It's just, like, strictly correct to be doing this thing. Doing this before I play my land in case I draw a tapped land. So if we draw an untapped land next turn, we can stick Possibility Storm, and then we can get set up to combo on turn 6. Oh, I messed up. I should have just cast Fae of Wishes here, right? To keep Teferi out. Yeah, it's a pretty big mistake. We're gonna get Counterspell next turn now and feel awful. This doesn't get Spell Queller, but I can get, like, vetoed or something. 10 out of 10 should have tapped differently and cast Fae of Wishes on my turn. Stroke me, daddy. Here's a lukewarm take, Zephoid. Collected Company is a worse card than Once Upon a Time, and your green decks probably shouldn't be playing Collected Company. They should be playing Once Upon a Time. My lukewarm take on your comment there. So now whenever either player casts a spell from their hand, it exiles cards from the top of their deck till they find another card with that type. So they cast a Spell Queller, turn into a Spectral Sailor here. On our next turn, we'll be able to Lovestruck Beast and combo them here, potentially. Do we want to cast Ballista to see what we hit? Nah. Doesn't matter. That's true. If they have Deputy, they can play a creature and turn it into Deputy. Alright, so they're dead. Yay, we got to do the thing. Yay, things. My heart's desire is to enter the infinite. So this is the only sorcery in our deck, so we guaranteed get to cast this. So enter the infinite here, draws our entire library, and then puts 1 card from our hand back on top of our deck. We put Borborygmos back on top of our deck. We then cast Walking Ballista for X is 0, which casts Borborygmos. We have 2 copies of Enter. If we draw both of them, we can't combo. And then Borborygmos here discards lands from our hand to deal 3 damage per land. Yeah, I agree, Wilder. It's my same problem too. Once my deck includes green shock lands, it includes 4 Once Upon a Time. So, unlike the last Possibility Storm deck that we played, this one's deterministic when it combos off. I don't know if the shell that we're playing around this Possibility Storm is ideal. Like, this kind of weird pseudo-controlling thing is, I don't know if it's ideal. There were some builds going around. There was a list that Saffron Olive played that came out of a tournament in Japan that was like a more aggressively slanted build with like lawnmower elves at the bottom end to ramp up with, which seems very reasonable. Hey, Pathfinder. Thanks for the Prime support. Sorry, Arena sucks. Have a sub. Well, I appreciate you sticking around even though Arena sucks. It's not my fault Arena sucks, I promise. You are complete trash. Listen, Lawnmower Elves is great, okay? They're wonderful. Don't be mean to my lawnmower. If you cast a creature into the storm, and let's say a Bonecrusher, do you get to choose? You do actually. So yeah, so if you Peace Storm into I'll top that. If you Peace Storm into an adventure creature, you can cast either half. Is it Arena sucks, Standard sucks, or both? I mean, like, from a software quality perspective, Arena has gotten worse and worse the longer it's existed. As someone who was, like, super excited about Arena to start, it's definitely turned to disappointment. Like, there was a time in my life where I could play Arena all day and never restart the client, and now it needs to be restarted every 90 minutes like clockwork, which is not ideal. Standard's also not great. I uninstalled Arena last night. I've opened over 1,200 packs. Yeah, you're not alone. I mean, as someone who's fairly critical of Magic Online at a lot of points, Magic Online's kind of been killing it lately. Like, it's definitely far from perfect as well, but, like, we're getting a ban list update today that's a zero downtime ban list update. Like, that's something Arena couldn't do. Arena didn't even kick people out of their constructed events after the ban list happened. Like, I played against Field of the Dead 3 days after it was dead. Moto's not pretty, but it's mostly functional, right? Mostly, I guess. I'm gonna give it mostly functional. There was that bug with the Cavalier in the last PTQ we played. Alright, I'm going to cast off now, because the Selfless Spirit sacrifices to give their stuff indestructible as is, so have to just 1-for-1 this here. Yeah, Moto does leak memory, but I agree it's not as erroneous as Arena recently. Did not read many complaints from the pro. The no emergency ban announcement. To me, it's such a clear omission of we need to sell Eldraine packs despite the gameplay being terrible. Yeah, Wall of Roots. Oh, Wall of Roots. Teferi's a great draw here because he forces their hand, which is excellent. Well, that's the best possible hits they could have had. They hit Spell Queller plus a way to protect from our next cast off, so we're dead. It's unfortunate. Twitch Chuckle was watching Cuneo stream a bit yesterday after seeing it was the only MPL Pearl Division to submit a non-Oko deck. He said something to the effect he didn't know if the Selesnya deck was better, but he just couldn't bring himself to play that many mirrors. Yeah. Yep. Or just, like, myself included, playing a bunch of Oko mirrors, I just don't find it fun. And there's some people, like Crokies, who's just been loving these mirrors, and, like, more power to them. I've heard other pros say that they really like playing these mirrors. It reminds them of Clawblade, and they like that format, but I'm just not one of those people. Playing constant mirrors over and over and over again is just, like, not great. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Sifka kind of has a similar rule that you should apply to Gabriel Nassif, in that, like, whatever deck Sifka or Gabriel Nassif or, like, players of those caliber are winning with, you should assume that, like, normal humans are going to win, I don't know, 15 to 20% less of the time. So, like, I believe that Stan Sifka has a non-Oko deck that he's ahead against these Oko decks with, but I think in the hands of, like, a normal human being, like, that's probably not the case. Yeah, this is fine. I don't know what we're playing against yet. Rude. Sure. You mean skill matters? I'm saying that if you're an incredibly good Magic player, you can play a deck that's not good and have good results with it. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm at. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Do 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 do. Oh, Kiki Cord. Oh, Oh, Kiki Cord. Huh? Alright, well, I'm putting this into play. I'm just gonna cast Bonecrusher Giant. Lovestruck Beast can't attack here because our 1/1 died. Hopefully we can dodge discard spells and counter spells this turn. Excuse me, and just jam this Peace Storm. Sick. Please play Bonecrusher Giant. Dealerino. We're in the Grixis bracket. Yep. Hey, Poxy, thanks for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. If we get Spell Pierced here, I'm going to be a little tilted. They could be playing Spell Pierce. I hate everything. I hate all of it. Our one weakness. I wonder if they're a Grixis Emerge deck. Maybe not. They could just be Grixis control. Yeah, wonder what other 4+ power creatures they're playing. Yeah, you know, as much as I love the stack in Magic, there's something like therapeutic about playing games like Mythgard and like Hearthstone, where like you just know you're gonna actually get to cast your spells and they're gonna get to do a thing. Like, your opponent can like kill them or attack them or whatever the following turn, but you like know that you're gonna get the satisfaction of like, my card's gonna do what it was intended to do. Oh, I'm all alone, there's no one here beside me. Do 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 do. We're super dead. Poor Lovestruck Beast. He has no one to love him. I guess I bring in Veil. Bonecrusher doesn't seem like it kills most of their stuff. I'll bring in Veto. Give it a go. I have a Grixis problem. Yeah, this deck feels too slow and clunky overall. Like, we're on our third opponent out of 3 that has just like a little bit of interaction in their deck. It feels like we're just like folding too hard to that. Yeah, if you would have told me we were going to play against like a bunch of Thoughtseize and Counterspell decks, I would have definitely packed more Veil of Summer. I put some Vetoes in over more Veil because I wanted to have like more counterplay against like decks that were also like trying to race us, other combo decks, but it's hard. Like I said, it's early in a format. It's hard to know exactly what you're going to play. Even once this format develops, there's probably enough different decks in it that it's hard to really pick your answers. Format seems pretty creature. I mean, I don't even think it's fair to say that. I think it's just like there's a lot of different things in there. No, I don't have it posted anywhere, Sidna. It's in my deck editor. It's in my deck editor, and it'll be up under the YouTube video later. I have no idea, Endo. I cut some of the cute things. Maybe Tamiyo's supposed to come in here. Maybe I'm supposed to leave it in the board to wish for. This is a viewer submission. It's doing a lot of cute things. I cut some of the cute, but I don't like to change decks too much because then it like changes the core of the submission. Like I didn't want to just like take this build and throw it out and try the one from the Japanese tournament. So I stuck with some of the details. I have to put back 2 cards. Oh, Magic sucks and then you die. Bans don't go live till 2 o'clock this afternoon, so 4 hours from now. Alright, well I get to fetch planes, and we can shock and steam vents to Veto a Thoughtseize. 1 for wanting a Thoughtseize like some kind of scrub, but it's what it is. I mean, people play anything in any format of Magic, right? And that's like this current standard format really shows that, right? Like, the food decks are, like, completely overbearing, but there's still, like, you know, 60 and 70% of people that show up at Grand Prix are still just, like, showing up with whatever they feel like playing. I don't require people to, like, write a dissertation about why they're playing the cards they're playing into. Stub me, daddy. Womp womp womp. Alright. Let's try one more before we move on to Mythgard. It's been a rough morning for Magic. It's been a rough Pioneer morning. See if we can accomplish the thing in one match before we call it a day. Some hot 06 for the past 2 hours. Yeah, we actually haven't won a match today, have we? The Fae package is not great because it's slow copies of your already slow combo card, is watering down the average card quality of your deck. I mean, like, I kind of disagree with you, because, like, if you look at, I disagree with you that the Fae package is too slow. I agree with you that the control deck that we're playing, I feel like singling out the Fae as the reason why this deck is bad is incorrect. I feel like the entirety of this deck is just super slow and clunky in general, and the Fae is part of that, but I don't think it's really any more slow or clunky than the rest of what's going on. We did not, Endo. We were 0-3 with the blue-white deck. Yeah, the blue-white deck had some good matches. This deck has not really had good matches. We've mostly just been us getting run over. Mostly just been us rolling over and dying. Again, playing Once Upon a Time on 1 there, so that way I can find a tap land to play. I actually think Fae of Wishes is an incredibly reasonable card in general. Just because, like, in the matches where you need Fae, in the matches where Fae using Granted is too slow, a 1/4 flying blocker tends to be a meaningful card that has a text box. So, Vessel of Nascency. They're playing Aetherworks Marvel. Welcome to the 03 bracket. People keep asking why people aren't playing Marvel in this format. Welcome to the 03 bracket, where they are. This is one of the reasons to not play Marvel in your deck in this format. Teferi Time Raveler stops Marvel from casting spells. I really like Fae of Wishes in the, we played a and a blue-white approach the second sun deck, and it was quite good there. Hey, welcome to that 03 life. For people who might not be familiar with the opponent's archetype, Aetherworks Marvel here is the epitome of Magic is gambling. You can spend 6 energy to have this cast a spell at random out of the top 6 cards of your deck. So I think my plan here is to grab a plane so I have double white for this cast off. I'm going to cast this Bonecrusher Giant and I'm going to Teferi pick it up. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to make a 1/1 there. Since I have another Lovestruck Beast in my hand anyways. Ishkana. Alright. Rewarded for not making a thing. So I can just cast off now. Spider Mom, bring along the Spider Kids. Do 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 do. Spider Mom, do do do. In my expert opinion, I think that if there's a good energy deck in this format, I think Glint Sleeve Siphoner is probably low key the best energy payoff that currently exists. Would not be surprised. That's just like the ideal one. Alright, so let's cast Fertile Footsteps here. Grab a forest, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and stomp Oko and then cast a 4/3 here. Yeah, Glint Sleeve Siphoner is the one that draws a card every turn. It's the 2/1 with Menace. How much mana does it cost to cast, Jeff? On this current frame, it's kind of hard to see because it's tiny, but it costs $2 of each different color. Alright, turns out our bad combo deck might be better than their bad combo deck. My heart desires and enter the infinite. Giddy up. Alright, let's throw Borborygmos Enraged back. Like to cast this to put Borborygmos into play. CJNJ, thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Again, Borborygmos Enraged here lets us discard a bunch of lands from our hand to deal a bunch of damage to them. Yeah, this is that was turn 8, and we had accelerated a couple of times. That was the second time in this league we've comboed successfully. I think I want Veto not only for their Okos, but also to stop their, what's it called? Their Aetherworks Marvel. I think I was going to cut the Bonecrusher Giants here. The rest of this seems fine. We are 0-3 in this league. Sure. Pioneer pseudo ad nauseum. Yeah, in a way. Again, gonna once on turn 1 here, just in case we get a tap land. Take Lovestruck Beast, I think. Grab a forest. Go ahead, opponent. That's a little punishing for getting the forest on 1. So I can't hold up Veto now, which sucks. So I'm going to play Just Got Control with Cat Combo and Pioneer if the bans didn't come directly for the combo. I'm looking for a new control deck. Any recommendations of what you've seen? Yeah, I'd recommend checking out the, what's it called? Deck, the Approach to Second Sun deck we played a little bit of. I'm going to shock this in so we can Veto an Oko or an Aetherworks Marvel next turn. Hey, thanks for the 1.5 years, Azumail. Pioneer's great, buy their stuff, keep up the content. Thanks for the 18 months. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Let's nope that right on out of here. And then I think based on the context of my hand and like what they're doing, I'm actually going to go ahead and just oh, nope. Well, I was going to say I'm going to Fae of Wishes for a Possibility Storm so we can just like play Possibility Storm 2 turns in a row, but with Time Raveler as the draw. That's just the line. Pops up every time I log in. Just got to send it off there. And it's funny, we're actually going to win this game. So like the game is over and we haven't comboed yet because with Possibility Storm and Teferi Time Raveler in play, my opponent can no longer cast spells. So I do this, I bounce the Rogue Refiner, and they can't win anymore. Doesn't even matter that we have a combo kill. You're fine, Turkin. You've got that mod sword next to your name. So once you put in your 12 months here, the sub has to lapse. It's not a big deal. So yeah, Teferi just stops them from casting their spell. All right, we found a win in the 0-3 bracket. Let's see if we can get another win at 1 and 3 and get our $5 back. Get 5 of our $10 back. Honestly, if there's one thing that this format feels like it's really taught me is that like if Kaladesh is available on Arena and they could just re-enable that, Kaladesh would be fine in Historic. The cards in this current standard format are just so powerful that like it's not a big deal. These energy cards compared to like the food cards and other things that are going on in standard are like Field of the Dead. Except for Cat Combo. Yeah, probably not Cat Combo. Apologies to anybody's animals who just jumped because my doorbell rang. It's almost like the power level of cards are largely contextual to the format in which they're played. I know, right? If only there was someone out there that kept saying that over and over and over again. If only I knew. What do we got? Teferi, Once Upon a Time, some lands. Let's do it. Hey, thanks for the 2 months there, Ong. Hey, appreciate the continued support. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Witching Well, eh? Opponent mulligan 2/6 this game. Probably some kind of Emery variation. Well, I was going to once on one to look for a tapped land, but since we found a tapped land anyways, I can hold off on the ones. Ideally, you want to cast the ones as late as possible when you're looking for something in particular, is generally, or you're going to cast a spell. I think because I drew another Lovestruck Beast here, I'm going to go ahead and Lovestruck Beast this turn to make a 1/1, so I'm going to cast this once to start. And I'm not playing my land out first intentionally, because if they want to Spell Pierce this, that means they're not Spell Piercing this Teferi later, which is ideal for me. Definitely would rather, with this hand, would rather once get countered than Teferi get countered. Maybe JVL. So, like, the problem with that is you have to have, like, full control over the board, which is not always something that you can do. Alright, so let's Teferi bounce your Inspiring Statuary here, which makes your other things cheaper. I'm just waiting on a P-Storm at this point. Granted would also do it. Perfect. Look at that. Never didn't have it. Alright, so they'll be locked out next turn. Maybe we'll salvage a 2-3 out of this league. Hopefully we're going to get another turn. Paradoxical outcome, yeah. I mean, we have 4 Fae of Wishes, and we have Once Upon a Time to find Fae of Wishes, so we're not, like, purely on the, like, find it naturally plan. I think my favorite thing about the bans is that they were just like peak Magic player. Like Wizard of the Coast was like up front that they were going to be banning aggressively to start in this format. And then people are like super surprised that they actually did what they said they were going to do. I don't think Lucky Clover is a good enough payoff on average. So next turn, we will combo kill them. We're going to end step Beanstalk Giant, grab a land, play our 6th land, play Possibility Storm, Lovestruck Beast, enter the Infinite, Borborygmos, kill them. I don't know. I think there's something to be said about banning only Oath or only once and seeing how the other one does. I also think a lot of people have been complaining about 3-mana Planeswalkers, and removing Oath is a good way to make the 3-mana Planeswalkers worse without making them unplayable, which is ideal. I don't normally call for bans, but when I do, it's for Teferi. Yep. I don't always want to ban, but when I do, it involves the hero of Hearthstone. I only want them to ban the cards I don't use. I just want them to ban cards until the deck I like is playable. Is that asking too much, chat? Crawworm ban when? I think there's a Shadow of the Grave New Perspectives deck, maybe? That sounds kind of slow. New Perspectives is like a 6-mana card, right? So again, this is our combo. Our Heart's Desire is to enter the Infinite. Enter the Infinite draws our deck. It puts Borborygmos back on top of our deck. We cast Walking Ballista here, which casts the Borborygmos. And then This little piggy goes wee, wee, wee all the way home. Yeah, I don't know that I was a huge fan of, like, the details of this deck list, but, like, this Possibility Storm core, this Possibility Storm combo finish, it definitely deserves a lot of exploring in this format. So, like, the 4 Possibility Storms, a Borborygmos to enter, and then a couple 0-mana creatures slot into a lot of different shells. Cog, thanks for the 5 months of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Yeah, it's hard to interact with the storm once it's in play. It's exactly true. Possibility Storm is the Through the Breach of Pioneer with a little bit of effort, yeah. Alright, so our opponent was, like, playing artifact things. Mystic Dispute and Veto are probably better than Bonecrusher Giant. Maybe trim a Realm-Cloak. Well, I guess Realm-Cloak cleans up after Psy. Alright, I'm gonna leave all those. Let's submit. Chilu, thank you for the half a year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, the tough part about Teferi is, like, keeping the board fully clear is real difficult. Your Teferi's frequently going to die. D-Sphere over Realm-Cloak. Maybe? Yeah, I could... I don't know. D-Sphere's pretty slow. I feel like if I wanted any more cards onto the board, it's probably just like another Veto. If both players have Teferi and there's a Pithing Needle on Teferi and you play Possibility Storm, nobody can do anything. That is correct. Why isn't Teferi... What an awful 3-mana Planeswalker. Doesn't go up to 6 right away. Doesn't generate card advantage while plussing. Why would you even bother? Teferi. He's very incredibly fair. Oko Wrap is the 3-mana walker that don't die to fry, don't die to fry, don't die to fry. Opponent apparently deep in the tank. The old mono blue paradoxical outcome versus 4-color Possibility Storm matchup. A Pioneer classic, if you would. Pretty easy mulligan here. Enter the Infinite in the opener sucks. There's no green mana. Walking Ballista in the opener is also pretty mediocre. Sure, in. I'm gonna bottom the Ballista here. We'll lead on Mystic Monastery and then shock in Temple Garden on 2 to Veto. In. Opponent scryed top with their Zafran Void, colorless land that scries 1 when it comes into play. Is untapped, unlike the dual lands that come out in tapped. I'm wondering how many times I'll have seen the entirety of the PJ Masks before my children grow up. There is no more silence. There is only Paw Patrol. I assume this is naming... Oh, this could be naming Borborygmos, right? Probably names Teferi. No, they're naming Borborygmos Enraged. Okay. Sure. I mean, like, 3-mana Tef just bounces that, right? So it's not a big deal. We've done the thing, I think, 3 times in this league total. We're currently up a game in this last match where we did the thing in the first one. We notably have not won any games on our fair backup plan, which probably means it's just not good enough. Like, we're currently on 0% of winning games with, in a fair way. I just bought on that here. I already have double white. I guess that's not true, actually. Because this gets our second red for Possibility Storm. And then I just want 5 mana. I think I just wouldn't play this build again, Capu. I think, like, the ultimate power level of, like, what we're doing seems very low here. I mean, this combo is technically Modern legal, but it's not really competitive in Modern because it's so slow. At what age do kids get exposed to Paw Patrol? Whenever you allow it. Please be something I can veto. Please be something I can veto. Please be something I can veto. Well, I mean, that's technically something I can veto, right? So, that's actually kind of interesting. The reason why they played this out before casting their Inspiring Sanctuary here is they have Metallic Rebuke in their hand. So if I play Teferi Time Raveler next turn, they're going to be able to rebuke it, which is not ideal. Although I suppose if I want to not get red with this, I could play Teferi Time Raveler and veto their rebuke. Yeah, I'm actually going to do that. It's like, get while the getting is good. We'll just draw another red source. They have Mystic Dispute. Sure. Veto also works here. I think there's a Gilded Goose, Oko, Metallic Rebuke Shell. That's good. Yeah, quite possibly. Maybe you play Tireless Tracker too for good measure. Veto the rebuke sounds like an annoying conversation, right? All right, if we draw a... Well, I guess I need an adventure creature. We need a red source and an adventure creature here. Am I just plussing this? I think I'm just plussing this. In... But lurking on my phone while taking a walk, and you really need to start saying the enraged part just so nobody gets confused. Listen. Yeah, Ballista for 0 finds an adventure creature, but it doesn't, like, do anything useful with it. We're gonna hard cast enter. Maybe. Maybe. So if we draw a Lovestruck Beast next turn, we get to combo them. So there's a mountain on top of my deck. If this draws Lovestruck Beast, I could get them. Do we go for it? Yeah, I think so, because they can't recast this, right? Well, I guess they can recast it if they kill Teferi. I think that's fine. Let's do this. Do this. And then they actually can't kill Teferi next turn because I can block Psy and then sack the Walking Ballista to kill a Thopter. and then I have a chance to draw any adventure creature next turn as lethal. I boarded out the Giants, right? Any of our sorcery speed adventure creatures next turn win the game. And they can't currently cast any spells because of the interaction between Teferi, Time Raveler, and Possibility Storm. We have a second copy of Enter the Infinite in our deck. So if we draw a sorcery speed adventure creature, it turns into Enter the Infinite, then we win the game from there. So anytime you don't have both your enters in your hand in this deck, and you have this out and you cast a sorcery speed adventure creature, you win the game. They do get to make tokens. So what you're saying is you're going to draw the second enter? Yes. We're by no means a lock to win this game. Our opponent could definitely still kill us from here if we miss next turn. So Teferi's not dying this turn though, so that's guaranteed. With the Walking Ballista, we're guaranteed to untap with Teferi. So we go block here, and then remove a counter, shoot this other one. And then we're going to draw a land and lose, but, you know, I think I'm happy with my line so far this game. Hey, Chrysigan, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Having a wonderful day wherever you are. So, I believe... Oh, this could be a veto, right? I think I'm just supposed to spin to win. I've already cast 2 vetoes. There's 1 veto in my deck. All right, sweet. There were a lot of ones. So this finds an adventure creature. We win. Perfect. All right, so the game's over. My heart's desire is to enter the infinite. And again, my opponent's playing Hearthstone, so they can't respond. We enter the infinite. We put Borborygmos on top of our deck. Cast this Walking Ballista. Puts Borborygmos out. Borborygmos throws lands at their face. All right, so we limped back against two probably worse combo decks than us. Or 2 other awkward. I don't know how bad these other combo decks that we played against, but they definitely were a little bit clunky like we are as well. And a big part of that too is a lot of these combo decks are going to be clunky until they get optimized. So we ended up going 2-3, which is like not the stone cold bratwurst. So our janky combo out-janked their janky combos. Overall, I think the big thing that shouts out to me about this deck list is the fact that, like, we didn't ever win with our fair plan. So, like, the idea of just being, like, this deck full of adventure creatures seems very silly. I think I'd much rather, like, the base green-red list that was, like, an aggro deck as a backup plan, as opposed to, like, this trying to control the game with, like, Realm-Cloaked Giant and stuff, I think is probably a slightly better direction to take. And Saffron Olive had played a little bit of that. We'll probably get to it on stream at some point soon. Yeah, this build, I can pull it up. Yeah, this is... I like what this build is doing better than the one we just played. So this deck is... It's got Elvish Mystic and Lawnmower Elves to, like, accelerate here. And then it's got this backup creature plan, but also could just, like, Possibility Storm into Enter the Infinite. One of the things that's kind of doing that sweet is it has... The only instant in this deck is Shared Summons. So that way... When you Bonecrusher Giant with Possibility Storm out, it turns into Shared Summons, and then Shared Summons gets you the Sorcery Speed one. So, like, Shared Summons, like, gives you this backdoor way to turn Bonecrusher Giant into the combo kill as well, which is sweet.